Okay, moving on to page 2. 10 through 12, we're going to use this particular set of data. And we're wanting to find mean, mode, and median. Well, mean is just our average. So let's go to our calculator and type it in. 5 plus 11 plus 13, 15, 2, 1, 8, 9, 2, and 13. Gives me 79. Divide by how many there are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So divided by 10 gives me 7.9 as my average, or my mean. Now, what is the mode? Mode is the one that occurs the most frequently. And in order to do this, typically it's easier to go ahead and put them in order first. You don't have to for mode. I'm going to, because I need to do that for median anyway. Let's look through here. My smallest value is 1. My next smallest value is 2. I have another 2. And then it looks like I've got a 5, 8, 9, and then 11, and then 2 13s, and then a 15. Let's see. Looks like I have 2 2s as well as 2 13s. Now remember, when you have multiple values that occur the most often, they are both the mode. So this one is 2 and 13. Now for median, we're going to see what the middle value is. Again, this is where you have to put it in order. So here we've got 1 and 15 are my outsides, then 2 and 13, 2 and 13, 5 and 11, and now I have 2 middle values, which are 8 and 9. If there had been a single number, if the entire or the amount was odd and there's just a single number, we would use that one. However, for 2 of them, we have to average it, which is 8 plus 9 divided by 2, and it's going to come out to 8.5. Now for 13, which one is the dependent quantity? Now remember, in a typical equation, x is going to be dependent and y is going to be, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. X is going to be independent and y is going to be dependent. So in this case, we got to see which of the values, and it gives us v and r, which of those two behaves like an x and which one behaves as a y. Typically we have y equals something with an x in it. Well, in this case, v is by itself, so the v is acting like the y. The v is dependent. The r is with all the other stuff, so the r is acting like the x. We want dependent, so that is v. Now, for 14, y varies directly with x. Actually, 14 through 17 are our variation problems. Well, when I see direct variation, I'm going to use the equation y is equal to k times x. The other equation, solving for k, is k equals x divided by y. Now, I made a mistake on this, I believe, in my 5th period class. I accidentally put y over x instead of x over y. It does make a slight difference in the problem, but it should be... Ooh, take that back. I made the same mistake again. It's supposed to be y divided by x. Okay, so I made that exact same mistake in my 5th period, and I'm sorry for that. Make sure you do y divided by x there. First step is solve for k. We use the original set of values it gives us. When 6 or y is 6, x is 2, well, I get y over x, gives me 6 over 2, tells me that k equals 3. After I find k, I use k and then my new x value to find y. So y equals k times x, which is k is 3, times x is 14, and 3 times 14 is 42. So y is 42. Now, exact same thing, y varies directly with x. So let's go ahead and find k first. K is y divided by x. So k equals 14 divided by x, which is 4. Now that's going to reduce to 7 halves. If we wanted to, we could take that to 3.5. Doesn't matter either way. I'm going to go ahead and use 3.5. And now we want to know when y is 21, what is x? So y equals kx. Well, we got 21 is equal to 3.5x. Now we're going to divide both sides by 3.5. So x equals, and this is one I don't know in my head, so 21 divided by 3.5 will be 6. Answer is 6. Now for number 16. Now we're using inverse variation. Inverse variation, our base equation is y equals k divided by x. And the k equation is y times x. Same strategy though. We're going to look for k, and then we're going to use that k value to solve for the one it asked for, in this case, y. So we've got k equals y times x, which is 8 times 6. 8 times 6. 8 times 6 comes out to 48. Now let's go ahead and use that k value. Y equals 48 divided by 12. That was k over x. K over x. So y equals 48 divided by 12 is 4. Simple enough there. Now, exact same idea. We've got our inverse variation. We're going to do k equals y times x. Well, y is 16 times x is 4. K equals, and this is still one I don't have in my head, 16 times 4, 64. All right, now we're going to use our next equation. What is x when y equals 8? Y equals k over x. So y is 8. 8 equals 64 divided by x. And we can cross multiply and divide this, put it over 1. That's going to give me, cross multiply would be 8x equals 64. Divide both sides by 8, so x equals 64 divided by 8. And 64 divided by 8, I can't believe I just typed that in the calculator, is 8. Almost done with this page. Got 2 slopes here to do. Slopes of the ramps. Well, slope is always going to be rise over run. Here my rise is 15 divided by my run is 150. And that is going, as we read from left to right, going from left to right, it is going down. So that is negative 15 divided by 150. And to simplify that, if we don't remember how to simplify, negative 15 divided by 150, hit math, enter, enter, and that will give you negative 1 divided by 10. All right, next one. We've got the same idea, rise over run. So rise is 15, divided by run is 120. And we can do the exact same trick with the calculator. 15 divided by 120, math, enter, enter, will give me 1 over 8. Now this one, as I go from left to right, it is rising, so it is going to be a positive slope. So positive there. 19, last one on this half of the page. Distance truck travels, the distance a truck travels varies directly, which means I'm going to be using my direct variation equation. So, as we look at these, we had y varies directly with x. So the one that comes first is going to be y. So the distance the truck travels is going to be y. So distance is our y value with the number of hours. So hours is going to be x. If a truck travels 200 miles, well, miles is a distance, so that gives me y equals 200. 3 hours, that's a time, which is x, so x equals 3. And then for my next one, or for my last section, for how long it would take for the truck to travel 940 miles, that's 940 is a distance, so that is y. Now, just like before, we're going to use our equation to find k first. For direct variation, we look back up and we see that k equals y divided by x. So, k equals 200 divided by 3. And that's not going to reduce. So let's just go ahead and take that one to a decimal. 200 divided by 3. It's going to give me 66.6 repeating. Now, I go back up and look at my other equation to find y equals kx. So, 940 is equal to 66.6 repeating times x, which means that I divide both sides by 66.6, and then 940 divided by 66 point. Now remember, if you have this repeating decimal, just type it a whole bunch of times until it at least wraps all the way back around, and the calculator will be able to handle that for you. So then give me 14.1. I'd be willing to bet that was supposed to be a 14, but this is a multiple choice test, so choose the one that is closest to.